Are we straight ahead?
Yeah. Okay, so here we go, Elizabeth. One more time.
One more time.
What can you do when you have technical problems, but you have to power through them?
Yeah, you do.
So let's go once again. Oops, I cut us off. Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your Viceroy of Verisimilitude, your Master of Fun and Wonder, but apparently not the greatest YouTube producer of all time, Robert Meyer Burnett. And here I am, of course, as your sommelier of cinema, with my co-host, the lovely
Elizabeth Gwendolyn Bell.
And this is what?
This is Elizaviews whining about movies.
My God, whining about movies. We already poured our wine. And you know what? If I switch cameras again, let's hope that there's still audio. Oh, and there is.
Oh.
Let's go back, because I'll edit out the fucked up beginning. We are drinking a Pinot Noir right here. Here it is. And where did we get this Pinot Noir?
So we got 6 bottles of wine from Naked Wines.
From Naked Wines.
$100 worth of wine for $35.
Wow.
And they're not sponsoring us, by the way. I just thought it was a really amazing deal.
And you sent me a friend thing, and I too ordered some.
Right. So now we have our second box coming.
Yeah, which we need to do the show.
And we have codes if you're interested in getting some wine.
Yeah, we can do that. They should pay us.
They should.
Well, anyway, let's drink to you. Tonight's movie. Actually, we're here now. Tonight's movie is
The Sound of Music.
It's The Sound of Music, but it's a big deal for
It
me.
is a huge deal.
Now, why don't you tell the folks at home why is it a huge deal?
Okay, so for 5 years, we've been together for 5 years. I've been trying to get Rob to watch The Sound of Music. And a couple years ago, Sophie bought him...
Your daughter.
Sophie, my daughter Sophie, some of you know who she is, bought Rob for Christmas the 75th anniversary.
Not 75th anniversary.
75th?
This movie came out in 65.
Okay,
It's not
anyway,
75 years old.
It was the 50th anniversary.
Okay, yes, 50th anniversary
Okay.
disc, yeah.
Disc of The Sound of Music.
Yeah,
75th.
Blu-ray.
That would be a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Yes, and so and I could never get him to watch it. One night I tried to put it in and he just kept drinking and then he was mocking it and I turned it off.
Yeah.
So finally, with much nagging and with your help,
It really was. The Post-Geek Singularity helped.
finally he's
Yeah.
agreed to watch it and we watched it last night.
We watched it last night.
So what did you think?
Well, first of all, we need to toast to Robert Wise's 1965 film, The Sound of Music, based on Maria von Trapp's book. Mm-hmm. The Von Trapp singers that
Which I've read the book.
and I think it came out in 19. Well, her husband, Christopher Plummer, died in 1949.
Well, Christopher Plummer didn't die.
He didn't die. He's still alive, by the way. He was in Knives Out. But yes, so Maria, the character that Julie Andrews plays,
Yes.
based on her book.
Right. We still haven't tried our wine though.
And so let's drink to that movie. Let's drink to the movie and to the whole Von Trapp family.
Yes.
And this smells delightful. Oh, that's pretty good. Well, that's a pretty
That
good.
is lovely.
I'm a big Pinot Noir fan, I have to
So
say.
am I.
So,
Very nice.
okay. Now, the great Robert Wise directed this film. Robert Wise, of course, who had come off directing West Side Story, co-directing with Jerome Robbins. And he was prepping The Sand Pebbles, which got delayed. And I think it was William Wyler was their first choice to direct this. Mm-hmm. But Rogers and Hammerstein, it was already a Broadway play. Mm-hmm. It was a show. And it had sort of a fitful development process at Fox. But eventually, after the film had been scouted in Austria, I think it was William Wyler fell out, and Robert Wise came on board to direct the film.
Mm-hmm. So, what did you think?
Here's what I thought of The Sound of Music. I was reminded when I went to USC for the first time, there was a film professor there named Drew Casper. and he taught Cinema 190. And anyone who's ever gone to USC who's had Drew Casper knows of Drew Casper. And the first film, I had to take Cinema 190, and the first movie, and you'd go to the Norris Cinema, beautiful 500-seat theater on the USC campus, beautiful. And to see movies there was great. And the first movie I saw in Cinema 190 was a movie I actually owned, but never watched. Because up until that time, I was 21 years old. I had an aversion to musicals. The only musical I liked was West Side Story that Robert Wise co-directed with Jerome. I loved West Side Story. I'd seen it in 70mm at the Cinerama a number of times. And I owned Singing in the Rain on Laserdisc. I owned it but hadn't watched it. And it wasn't until Drew Casper's Cinema 190, it was the first movie he showed, and I was entranced by it because I like musicals. I kind of felt last night when we were watching the movie the way I felt watching Singing in the Rain for the first time. That as the movie unfolded, it was different than I thought it was. I was immediately charmed by it.
Oh.
Well, what is the problem with Maria?
What is the problem with Maria?
I mean, as soon as we talked about it, as soon as, the nuns, I thought, this movie is so pro-Catholic Church. I loved it. I love the what is the headmistress? The Mother Teresa, Mother Sister, the head nun. I don't know what her name is, who is totally played against type. You think she's going to be this stern woman. She was totally the wise Yoda of nuns. I loved her. I loved all the nuns in this movie. I wanted to become a member of the convent. Of course, I couldn't. But from the very beginning, and that song. First of all, it opens, of course, with I guess I forgot when you first showed me that it opens with the Sound of Music number. And by the way, what was really interesting to me about this movie is it opens in a very similar way to West Side Story. As everyone knows, the overture of West Side Story is a graphic of New York City that resolves different colors, and then it begins with these aerial shots of the city. I mean, now they would be drone shots, but West Side Story is there's shots directly down on the cityscape, which I've always loved. This movie begins the same way. Mm-hmm. There are these long, sweeping shots
of the mountains
and of Salzburg. It takes place in Salzburg, in Austria, and I'm like, oh, so he was recalling West Side Story, but instead of the asphalt jungle of New York City, you're seeing this unbelievable, the vistas and the gorgeous Austrian scenery, which they shot in Taddeo, 70mm, 65mm. So it's immediately entrancing, and then it goes into, of course, Julie Andrews running around the hills, singing "The Hills Are Alive," and coming at it now. I mean, I hadn't had anything to drink or anything like that. Just so you know, I was completely I was locked in. I'm in. I'm gonna watch this movie.
Yeah, you were committed.
I was committed. You could tell I was committed.
Yes. I
was totally committed, and I was, as soon as we went to the convent and met the nuns, and it was very funny because the transition into the trouble with Maria, when all the nuns are each one of them has a different experience of Julie Andrews' character. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Like the whole tone of the movie, it had that whimsy you and I love.
Yes.
And from the very beginning, I was locked in. And when they cut into the song, I'm like, I love this song because it was different than I expected. Had you heard that song before? I mean, you must have heard most of these songs. Yeah, I kept saying, "Oh, I know this song."
Yeah. I mean, there's so many songs that
my favorite things.
Right. I mean,
there's songs in this movie I didn't realize were from this movie that was very apparent, and but once that song, The Trouble, what's the song called?
A Problem with Maria.
The Problem with Maria. I was in. That song grabbed me immediately.
It's a great song.
It's a great song, and the way it was set up, I'm like, okay.
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
Yeah. How do you solve a problem like Maria? I loved it. I mean, right? Because that was unique. I didn't understand that, that was, because the nuns were like, they liked her, but they're all like, she's disruptive, and I'm like, oh, I'm down. She's like she's like the anti-hero nun, and even though she's so sweet, and of course, this film, Robert Wise had not seen Mary Poppins, and this movie was a year after Mary Poppins, and she's kind of like, in a way, she is playing Mary Poppins. She's just not magical.
Well,
she comes with the power of God.
I read that she almost didn't take the role because it was so similar. To Mary Poppins.
And Robert Wise had not seen Mary Poppins, and they like showed him.
I don't think it came out at that point.
Well, they showed him
filming it.
Yeah, they showed him footage or whatever, and when Robert Wise saw Mary Poppins, they're like, you need to sign her right now. So, what a casting coup for this movie. Because who didn't love Julie Andrews, probably the most beloved woman on the planet in 1965.
Yes.
After. The photography in this movie is absolutely beautiful. Widescreen lensing at its finest. The lighting, I kept saying to her, there's some amazing just lighting and set design, and it's terrific. And I thought it was, when she goes and we meet the Von Trapp family, the kids are like total fucking dicks, man. These kids are dicks, and they're all Eddie Haskells. They pretend that they're nice, and I thought, okay, that was a little cliche, but they're smart about it. And I was surprised. I was surprised at how witty and smart the movie was. I thought it was gonna be all like treacly and too sappy and sweet. It's really not, and the idea that Captain Von Trapp is he's lost his wife, and he won't allow song in the house because his wife used to sing.
Yeah.
And he's found solace in trying to discipline his kids, but he can't. And that she's like, what, the 8th nanny?
Yeah.
They keep having these
more than
that. I mean, the kids are running every nanny out of town because they miss their mother, and their house is without song.
Yes.
And both from a metaphoric it's both metaphoric and literal. And
what did you say to me when the kids go in and sing to the Baroness? It's the first time their father hears them sing again. You said something to me. You turned to me and
Did
you
I
said,
say I'm getting verklempt?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, when they're singing and their father, I totally... When Captain Von Trapp hears them sing for the first time, I had a total... It was one of those things, like when you're watching a movie, I call it the whoosh. And it's the whoosh. And it happens inside of you. And it's brought on by a real emotional response. When you see a movie, you get this internal whoosh when the story is working and everything is grabbed you. And it's a total involuntary response. And you have that internal whoosh, and maybe it'll make you cry, or maybe it makes the pit of your stomach kind of fall out. And I had that. Total whoosh. The whoosh happened to me when they were singing. They were singing, and Captain Von Trapp came in and had a response because he sang with his wife, and you don't know that. You don't even know that he's capable of it because he's such a disciplinarian. He's such a... I thought he was going to be an Austrian Nazi collaborator. He's so not what I thought. And he was just kind of a dick. I'm like, straight up dick.
Well, he was a military man.
Right, but he's not like...
He was heartbroken.
Look, I played Major General Stanley in elementary school in the 5th grade. I am the very pattern of a modern Major General of information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I busted out my Gilbert and Sullivan, so I know. And I was not happy with Captain Von Trapp.
Yeah. Well, I read that the real Von Trapp was not at all like that. And that his actual children were kind of upset that he was portrayed that way.
Oh.
But I thought it worked really well.
Well, you had to portray him that way because the turn meant so much.
Yes.
I mean, I have to say, emotionally, I was actually, like, when he made that turn, he was such a dick. Like, he was such a dick with his whistle and stand at attention, 10 hot. I'm like, this guy is a straight up fucking dick. I hated this dude. And I wanted to love it because Christopher Plummer.
Yes.
Is in Star Crash. Not just Star Trek 6, but Star Crash, my beloved Star Crash. The Emperor of the Galaxy.
He was only 35 in this film.
No, I mean, once
35.
once that happens, and you literally see the joy return to the Von Trapp house. I mean, the most dope house ever. You totally
Yeah.
want to live there.
Totally.
The house is totally awesome. And what's so funny is Julie Andrews, even with her like nun haircut. I mean, come on, Julie Andrews was
She was beautiful.
she was a dish. Like, it doesn't get much better. And I couldn't help, she was married to Blake Edwards, and she was in the movie SOB. And part of the movie SOB, another great movie about Hollywood, she like exposes her boobs. Like, you see her straight on, she goes topless, and I kept thinking,
Was that before or
oh,
after?
that was way after.
Oh
Way
my-
after. She's
wow.
playing against time. But, I mean, she's so lovely. It was one of those movies, it's kind of like, it reminded me of Secret Admirer, one of my favorite unsung 80s teen comedies with Lori Loughlin, who married Massimo and now is in trouble with the USC bribery scandal. Lori Loughlin and C. Thomas Howell and John Travolta's wife. It's one of the great, Fred Ward's in it. It's one of the great 80s comedies, but it's unsung. And in that movie, Lori Loughlin is so beautiful, but C. Thomas Howell has no interest because, like, she's his best friend. And you look at Julie Andrews, and I'm like, come on, Captain Von Trapp. How can you not be entranced by Mary Poppins in your house?
He was.
Well, not at first.
It happened pretty quickly.
Well, it happened quick, but legitimately so. Like, she tamed his kids first.
Yeah, I mean, she reconnected him to his former life, to, the joy of music, his children, his, that feeling of family.
Well, I was surprised at how I thought this movie was like some G-rated kids fantasy thing. And I was surprised, literally, there's so much, literally, I don't know if that's the right word. There was so much emotion and so much genuine pathos in the story. Like, the nuns don't want her. They love her, but they realize she's never going to be a nun.
Yeah, right.
I mean, she's never going to be a nun. So, and then you had the headmistress or the Mother Superior. That's what it is. The Mother Superior, who was so wise. And so understanding. And I love the fact, like, I was raised a Jew, but I've always loved the Catholics because vampirism and The Exorcist. So I love the Catholics. I've always loved Catholic.
Well, I went to an all-girl Catholic high school.
Well, and look, Catholic girls are always the best girls to date.
I was not Catholic, but I went to a Catholic high school.
But what I loved about this movie, I mean, all you hear about, you watch the Catholics, the Catholic churches, for rightfully so. But I love the fact that the Mother Superior of this convent was like the Yoda.
Yeah,
she was the Yoda of she was the Yoda of Salzburg, Austria.
When she went in there and she asks Maria, "Are you in love with him?" I could totally sense that you were like, "Oh, here it comes. She's going to be in so much trouble."
I thought so.
And I was like, "Just you wait. She's not in trouble."
No, and when she says, God's love it exists in many different ways, and a great love, if a woman and a man are truly in love, that is also a manifestation of God's love.
Yes.
And I was like, this movie rules. I was so into this movie. I'm like, this movie is respectful of religion and belief systems, and it portrays the Mother Superior as this wise sage.
Yeah.
That is not. I mean, I expect her to like bend Julie Andrews over and spank her bare
Because
bottom,
nuns
which
are
is like
always
not a bad movie
portrayed
either.
As these disciplinarians that are gonna like wrap your knuckles and things like that.
Well, I guess I've watched so many nunsploitation movies, which I like, But in this movie, it was so refreshing and she's such a warm presence. I mean,
and then she sings to her and tells her to climb every mountain and to pursue her dreams.
Another great song. Climb every mountain. I mean, I was
sing.
Yeah, no, I was. I was. It's kind of like singing in the rain. You think that if you're somebody who loves Marvel movies and sci-fi movies and all that you can't like these movies, but I'm always surprised. When it was like the first time I saw West Side Story 2, I saw it in a theater, a huge theater, going to see it, and it was so captivating. And because I like music you know.
Yes.
And this film, all of these songs they're catchy tunes. Catchy
They really
tunes.
are.
And by the way, I did some reading.
Okay.
And one of my favorite film critics of all time is Pauline Kael. I have a book of hers like 1,000 pages long. Pauline Kael called the film the sugar-coated lie people seem to want to eat, and that audiences have turned into emotional and aesthetic imbeciles
Wow.
when we hear ourselves humming sickly, goody-goody songs.
Wow.
And then Robert Wise later recalled, the East Coast intellectual papers and magazines destroyed us, but the local papers and the trades gave us great reviews.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, you can be an intellectual. You can be a smart person. And you can talk about semiotics, or you can talk about poetics, whatever the hell you want to talk about when it comes to drama and all that. But you know what? If you don't like movies like this, I would say we bonded over like movies like Amelie. I would say there's an Amelie quality to this.
Is.
Because Julie Andrews was the Amelie of 1939 Salzburg, Austria.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
She comes in and she straightens out these kids.
Yep.
Where hope and love had died. And she brings it back to them. And she's a nun.
Well, not quite a nun. Almost a nun.
But I have to say, I'm happy you stuck with me. I'm happy that you.
Well, I couldn't have done it without the Post-Geek Singularity, because you guys pushed him. I had pushed him for 5 years, but you finally made it happen.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I don't know why I had such an aversion to it. It's one of those things where, and here's a lesson that I've learned throughout my life, kids. It's always better to do something than to not do it.
That's true.
And to have an aversion like, ugh, I'm not going to watch this movie because it's in black and white. Don't ever do that. Because more often than not, the experience of doing something, and by the way, it's like Luke in the cave in Dagobah. You know, what's in there? Well, only what you take with you, says Yoda. Well, you need to take yourself into everything, and no movie, I don't care what it is, it might be a terrible movie, but no movie will leave you without some kind of experience or some kind of, and every time I watch a movie I've had an aversion to, every time, there hasn't been one time.
Yeah, like Princess Bride. He hadn't seen it until maybe a year ago. Another one I pushed and pushed and pushed, and he finally watched it. And it was completely different than
You're
you
supposed
thought.
to cover me here on these things.
I'm sorry.
It's not good.
I won't let slip any.
And I love
others.
Rob Reiner. I love William Goldman.
Yeah. Okay, I won't give away any more of your secrets.
Can't trust her for anything. It's terrible. No, but the and by the way, I love Princess Bride.
Right?
No, but I knew I would love Princess Bride. I'd seen bits and pieces of it. It was one of these movies I just hadn't sat down and watched. Anyway, I know people.
Okay.
My legitimacy as a film pundit is being just chipped away. But I've seen a lot of movies a lot of you haven't seen.
That's
just so
true.
you know.
That's true.
So, wow.
So what was your favorite song?
Ooh, you know what? My favorite things.
Oh, yes.
These are a few of my favorite
Which I'm sure
things.
you've heard.
Yeah, no, I've heard that song. I mean, I love that song.
That's a great
But
song.
I love the sentiment about it because, again, it whimsy.
Yes.
You know, it's all about whimsy.
Yes.
It's what are my favorite things?
Mm-hmm.
What are the things? You know, hot toys and comics and model rockets. Yeah. I mean, you could put anything in there. You could put you could rewrite that song and put all of your favorite things.
Could. You really could.
These are a few of my favorite things. No, 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 no,
Of course, that's your favorite song.
I loved it. I loved it. But I'll tell you, there from a cinematic standpoint, there's some cinematography in this movie. There's a scene where Julie Andrews and Captain Von Trapp are in like his, what'd you call that room? Looking out into the
The
park.
ballroom?
the ballroom or the end of the end where the door is at the end of the ballroom, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's a scene where they're in silhouette, and she's illuminated like color, and he's like
Oh, they were in the gazebo.
the gazebo. The unbelievable. I comment. I'm like, that took them 8 hours to light. I was just looking at like, oh my god, they're on a studio. The film is both stage bound and also on location, and this was a stage set. But even then, I was looking at the lighting. It was just delicious. I'm like, and
I read that she giggled through that whole scene, that they had to do it 20 times.
Julie Andrews, obviously a delightful woman. She's still around. And no wonder Blake Edwards. No wonder she married Blake Edwards, the man who made the Pink Panther movies, the man who made 10, the Bo Derek film. But Blake Edwards has this amazing career, and I'll tell you, if I ever had a governess, or what was she's
governess.
A governess. I mean, I never had a governess. I think everybody should have a governess, and everybody should have Julie Andrews as their governess.
Right.
I think the world would be a much better place. But
with a spoonful of sugar.
Yes, a spoonful of sugar. Well, tell me what you told me about supercalifragilistic.
Oh yeah, so she would sing that song to the kids while they were filming, and because Mary Poppins hadn't come out yet, those kids thought that she had made up that song for them. The kids that play in The Sound of Music.
Flibbertigibbet. I did not know that Flibbertigibbet was used in a song in this movie.
Yes.
And Flibbertigibbet it's an onomatopoeia. It sounds like it is. And it was delightful to hear that in a
it's in the Maria song.
It's in the Maria song. I mean, yeah, you heard a nun say Flibbertigibbet.
Yes. More wine.
Yeah, well, yes, indeed. More vino. Okay, let's just kill it.
Let's kill it.
Give you some of that, and I'll take the last of the remnants. So there you go. Because whining about movies, I have to say, it's stunning to me that I hadn't watched this movie before. Being a Robert Wise fan, the guy directed Day the Earth Stood Still. He directed Curse of the Cat People. He edited Citizen Kane. Mm-hmm. He, of course, directed... By the way, I met Robert Wise. When I was in high school, I had a math tutor. I had a problem with algebra until it was one of these things. Again, I had an aversion to it. And my algebra tutor told me that she knew Stanley Kramer. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, On the Beach. Stanley Kramer, one of the great directors, who taught a film course at our local community college, at Bellevue Community College. And I was like, what? So one day, Stanley Kramer calls me at home. And I'm in high school. And it says, hey, this is Stanley Kramer. I'm like the Stanley Kramer? He invites me to take his course in the morning. It was like Saturday morning from like 9 o'clock to noon. And in one of his classes, Robert Wise comes, the director of Sound of Music, and does a whole presentation on his career. And of course, wow. I took my Star Trek The Motion Picture one sheet. And after the class was over, and Robert Wise spoke extensively about making Sound of Music, his whole career, I unfurled my Star Trek The Motion Picture poster and asked him to sign it. And he looked at it, disgusted.
Wow.
And I was a kid, but he knew I was a kid, so he looked at me. He was such a nice, kind man. But I could tell he was disgusted. And he looks at me and he goes, oh, that one. That's what he said. And he kind of looked like a teddy bear. He looked like a white-haired cherub. And I actually did get to meet him again and tell him this story when we were at the Directors Guild to see Star Trek The Motion Picture right before they began work on the Star Trek The Motion Picture Director's Cut. So I met Robert Wise twice in my life.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But this movie was fantastic, and I thank you for sticking by and making me watch it.
Yay!
I loved it. I thought it was delightful, and I would recommend it to anyone. It's amazing, this movie. It should get more attention.
Oh my
How
God.
could I have not? I mean, how many times? Everybody knows. Like, I have been sleeping on this movie since I was born. And
I have to say, it was very weird watching this with somebody who had never seen it because, I mean, I had watched this movie since I was a very young child over and over and over again. And to watch it with somebody who had never, ever, ever seen it just was very strange.
by the way, not only did I like this movie, but Nazis. I love Nazis. They're the worst villains. They're the best villains of all time. Anytime where there's Nazis that are humiliated or killed, just make Nazis the villains. The Nazis in this movie got their asses handed to them, and I love that. Captain Von Trapp stuck it to the Nazi regime. I love that. He was an Austrian through and through. There's no way he was going to take this forced commission. And I love the fact that he was defiant. And there's one moment where he tears down the Nazi flag that was hung on his beautiful house and tears it up. I was like, yes. I love Captain Von Trapp.
Actually, you know what I read?
What'd you read?
That Himmler actually lived in the Von Trapp house. He took it over. And that Hitler would visit him there. Their actual house. Isn't that amazing? It's mind-blowing.
I wonder if that was the actual house.
I don't know.
Probably wasn't, but you never know.
You never know.
Anyway, people are sending in questions and things to us that we should go back and hang on. I hope that everyone's gotten their yah-yahs out watching me, talk about this film. As I've been Willow. Oh wait, hang on. Before Willow, let's see. Well, before that, even I gotta put my glasses on. So old.
I'm so glad Willow is here.
Has Willow been here before?
Her mom.
Well, Willow says my mom keeps
it.
on talking about how handsome young Christopher Plummer is in the
Yes,
movie. It's the reason why she likes it. The Sound of Music more than Mary Poppins.
When he sings
oh
Edelweiss,
man, when he busts out the guitar, the guitarista, and playing
man.
Edelweiss,
and he's like looking at Julie Andrews and like that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but you know what? The awesome defiance against the Nazi regime is when he sings Edelweiss on stage at the end.
Yeah, but when he sings it and he's like looking at her, oh my goodness. Yes, such a lovely moment.
Calvin Bose sends in a tip and says, with as many times as this film has been released, why have you not seen it in the theater? Well, Calvin, my only answer is, wait, I gotta look at that camera because that's the camera we're looking at.
Yes.
Because I'm a douche. Like, I look, there are times when, it's like when people tell me, like, I won't watch a black and white movie because they're old. I was that guy. When it came, I don't know. I thought the Sound of Music was going to be too treacly, like I couldn't deal with it. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, gentle beings, kind people from across the universe. Anytime you have a preconceived notion about anything, especially a movie, it's wrong. It's wrong.
It's wrong.
All of your preconceived notions are wrong. And what do I say at the end of my shows? I say, every person you meet has a story to tell you haven't heard. Well, every movie you haven't seen also has a story to tell you haven't heard.
That's true.
And all you have to do is watch it. And by me not watching a movie just makes me a douche. Yeah, super douche. Just a little. No, I would say big douche.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, since I struggled so much to get you to watch this film. I mean, 5 years. 5.
Well, a spectator sends in a tip and says, hey, Rob, been enjoying your content for about a year now. I think I got the coronavirus. Oh, I have one of the early symptoms of it, not being able to smell or taste. I hope it's just a sinus infection, but I'm locking myself in my room for a week to be safe. Well, a spectator.
Hang in there.
Hang in all of our hopes. Remember, it's not a death sentence. I mean, it really isn't. We have to remember this. But just so you know, if you're locked in your room, you can come to this channel. We're here. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah.
Keep us informed.
Yeah. And if you can't breathe, then call an ambulance.
Yeah, I mean that's a thing. You'll know the insidious thing about this virus is it basically ultimately interrupts the ability of oxygen to make it from your lungs into your blood. and that's where it gums up the works. So if things get bad, make sure, keep us informed.
Yeah.
But thank you. But a spectator, you're watching the show, and I have to say, I don't know if singing helps the coronavirus. Spewing out the mucus. I don't know if you can do that, but perhaps singing.
Singing?
Maybe if you sing all of the songs, and maybe it opens up your.
Well, I think staying positive is definitely gonna help.
Doe a deer, a female deer. By the way, I never knew what that song was about. I mean, you learn it in music class in elementary school,
Yep.
but I love the fact that song is all about these kids don't know how to sing.
Right.
And she's like, we don't know how to sing.
Right.
And she's like, I'll teach you how to sing. And, I think I remember it in elementary school. Doe, a deer, a female deer.
We all learn it.
We all learn the song. And I didn't realize that it's actually to teach you how to sing. I thought that was so cool. I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that. Claude Hibbert sends in a super chat and says there's no sound. Yes, but we fixed that, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I don't know why that was weird. Audio, yeah. Quest cava vous avez dit. I don't even know. Okay, there you go. Von Trier's Dancer in the Dark is a dark study in musicals. Any fans? Oh, Bjork.
Wait, what?
You might be watching Dancer in the Dark, babe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that the next?
I don't know if it is, but I think we have 4 musicals.
Is that a musical?
Yes.
I have not seen that.
I know. I know. Well, Felix Leiter. Of course, the CIA operative, Felix Leiter. Oh, Exalted One, fairly hammered right now, and wanted to say thanks for the daily content. I know everyone is freaking out about No Time to Die being delayed, but I don't die, so chill out, people. Keep on keeping on, Rob and fellow geeks. Well, Felix Leiter, brother, you have 30 seconds, like you did in Quantum of Solace. Let's drink to that. To Felix.
To Felix.
May license to kill never happen to you or your wife. Felix. Mal Brain sent in a super chat. Well played, Elizabeth. By the way, drink. I don't mind if we do. Why don't we drink? Let's drink. Yes. Claude Hibbert is back with a super chat. Bonsoir, mon amis. Kava? The nuns are badass resistance guerrillas. We didn't talk about that.
Yes, they are.
The nuns are straight up rebellion.
Yep.
And I mean, how dope was that? And
yes, they take apart their cars.
Yes. Who knew that nuns know their way around a combustion engine?
Yep.
And they do. I mean, normally when I see women holding mechanical apparatuses like those, I feel, a little intimidated. But not in the case of this movie. By God, that was awesome.
Yes, it was.
I loved it.
Yep.
So good.
You didn't finish the rest of his
question. I didn't and Von Trapp said he was into Maria from the moment when she sat on the pine cone. Yeah. Well, he said that later.
Right.
Yeah, but I thought that was a little fetishistic. Like, as if he knew it was there. Like, he knew that was coming. He knew they'd done that before, and he was, waiting to watch it. It was
and it amused him.
It amused him.
And in that moment, because of the way she reacted,
so
she didn't say, oh, what is this? She played it off like it was nothing.
Right, and he knew. So he's going to introduce her to BDSM later.
Oh.
They're going to have a little power, a little switch play, a little master and servant. Little Depeche Mode.
He even called this film S&M.
Well,
he hated it so much.
Yeah, well, he did.
He called it The Sound of Mucus or S&M.
Yeah, but really what this movie really is a setup of a power dynamic relationship between a dom and a sub. That's what the whole thing about the
No, it's not. No.
Well, it kind of is. He's got all the power, and she's like a former...
Okay, this is a G movie. Stop it.
Is it, though?
Yes.
Is it really a G movie?
Yes, it is.
I mean, it kind of is, but all I know is that I think the Von Trapps were, once they went back to Austria, probably the toast of all the dungeons in...
No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding. Mukbang Reviews is here and says, "Hey, glad you got it out of the way."
Out of the way?
Well, no, it's important that we watch. I think it's important we watch it. It was good,
We're going to watch it again at some point.
I would watch it again. I loved it. I
Yay.
loved it. I loved it. I did.
Awesome.
Captain Brad is here. Captain Brad. First of
The
all,
Love Boat.
No.
The Love Boat.
Well, his
The Love Boat.
no.
Isn't that what he wanted? The Love.
What do you? I don't know what he called it. First of all, let me talk about Captain Brad for a minute, who's in the chat. Captain Brad was the first imagination connoisseur we met, by the way, almost a year ago.
Yes.
Because we were there. We were in Washington State. We went to a convention in Wenatchee with Greg Smith, our moderator, and we met Captain Brad. Captain Brad, who is a founding member of the Post-Geek Singularity, is the captain of a Washington State ferry.
Right.
And they're like 300 feet long. And Captain Brad came to Wenatchee. I met Captain Brad there. Delightful man.
And he had an idea to do a show.
Oh, yeah, well, yes, that's what you're talking about. Yes.
About the ferry.
Yeah. He wanted to do, yes, a sitcom about life on a ferry.
Right.
Which, by the way, is a great idea, and we should still do it. I mean,
yes.
only because, if for nothing else, if I could produce that show, he would let me captain the ferry, and I want to take a ferry, and I want to do a loop-de-loo. How do you make a 300-foot boat go around in a circle? I've been going on Washington State ferries. I think Captain Brad, and by the way, is a great home theater system, a great man cave as well.
That's right.
So, well, wait, we haven't even. He sends in a super
we
chat. We haven't even read it. Hi, I've been to Salzburg, and the
Oh.
movie isn't a big deal in Austria, per our Austrian guide. Come on, that's like every Austrian in Germany. It's not a big deal. Do you know how many people have come to Salzburg? They all came. They have to pretend that because they get more money that way. Been to the gazebo, still haven't seen, but own the Blu-ray. Huh? Captain Brad
You
comes.
haven't seen
Captain
it?
Brad with the assist. Thank you, sir.
That's mind-blowing. I thought Rob was the only person on Earth who had.
Dude, you got to watch it with your wife.
Watch it with your
You'll
wife.
and by the end,
tonight.
you'll be singing. And by the way, he's got a killer. His home theater system.
Oh my goodness, Brad!
killer.
Come on,
Dude.
put it on.
Yeah, bruh. Come on, bruh.
Bruh.
Come on, Captain. And by the way, Von Trapp's a captain. You're a captain.
That's right.
Von Trapp is a sea captain.
That's right.
So are you. You're just
need
like
to
Captain
watch
Von
it.
Trapp. And let's do a little role playing with
hey.
your wife later. That's what I'm saying.
No,
Not
no,
me,
no.
like you. And
No. But you
she's a
have to.
former nun.
No.
You're a captain.
No. Stop.
Could be good.
No. But
Sorry.
make a video of you and your wife singing the songs.
Wow, that could have gone elsewhere. Quick.
I caught it before you could say anything.
Okay. Doe a deer.
The Love Boat.
The Love Boat. That's not what you want to call it, though. Oh, Malbrain sent a super chat. The last musical suggestion, The Wicker Man? Come on, dude. Wait, do I have my Wicker Man? Look, can you see it? Here, grab that. Grab that over there. Here's one of my favorite pieces of physical media, for those of you who don't know. This, Anchor Bay put this out. This is The Wicker Man, the original Christopher Lee Wicker Man thing. This is the wicker box they put it in. Even though this is a DVD, I could not part with this. One of the great pieces. I've got so many cool physical media things. It's so good.
Is that a musical?
No. Well, no. There is music in it, but I wouldn't say it's a musical. Calvin Bose sends in a tip. Our man from Portland. The Nazis had the worst security ever in this movie. The Nazis were not incompetent, but in this movie they kind of were.
Well, it was just the beginning.
Yeah.
They were just learning how to be Nazis.
Well, no, because those are like imported Nazis. They came in.
No, the main guy lived in Salzburg. He was one of his neighbors, and then he became.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And even the Liesel's boyfriend.
Well, that guy, a super douche.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Hitler Youth. Look, this movie pillories collaborators, Nazis as it should, and all white supremacists, especially that live in this country. I never thought The Sound of Music would basically say you're all douchebags, but they do. And I can't say enough. White supremacy is a dead end. Captain Von Trapp will take your gun away and sing. Edelweiss.
Edelweiss.
And I thought that was good. Calvin Bose says, do you wish you saw it on the screen? Yes. You know what? I have had opportunities to see this movie on the big screen, and this is a widescreen, beautifully shot, epic-looking film. Even though it's mostly in the compositions in this, the widescreen composition, especially at the party at the Von Trapp house, beautiful.
Yes.
And I really wish I had seen this.
Our TV is pretty damn big, though.
Our TV is big, but it's not. Look, as far as I'm concerned, and I think you would agree with me, it's not big. It could always be bigger.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah. See. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it could.
Thanks a lot for that.
No, I'm into. Yeah.
Are you a size queen?
Okay, we're talking about a G movie. Okay.
I'm talking about actually diagonal. You know
Yeah.
how much? Just saying. I mean, I make up.
The bigger the screen, the better.
Yeah, I everything I lack, I try and make up for in my diagonal screen size.
Okay, next question.
What does that mean? Paul Gilmore sends in a tip and says, "Hey Rob, I'm a huge film score fan. Is there a score soundtrack to The Hills Run Red?" Paul, yes, there is. Varese Sarabande put out The Hills Run Red on CD. And by the way, it is, if I do say so myself, Freddie Freddie Wiedmann, our composer, I don't know if it's because he's German, Freddie Wiedmann, who composed the score for The Hills Run Red, is hugely talented. And you will be happy to know there is a beautiful 20-minute piece about him and how he composed the score. He did a phenomenal job. He used an orchestra in Europe. He had an opera singer work on the score. The score for The Hills Run Red, if I do say so myself, is one of the great things about the film. And Varese Sarabande put it out on CD, and you can get it. And the Blu-ray will have a piece about him on it that's really, really good. So, Evan Newman says, what did you think of Rolf, the boyfriend character? What a little dick, blowing his whistle and ratting them out.
Yeah, seriously.
When I was a kid, I
hate
thought he
that
was
guy.
the worst traitor.
He is the worst.
Look, he's everything about white supremacy made flesh, which is, it's all dumb. It's all stupid. And like, the fact is, he's a dick. He's just a dick. I mean, the fact is, here's the thing. Nazis, once you became part of the Hitler Youth, you thought you're somehow better than everyone else. It says something about our world today. I don't care what captain you are. A captain should be respected whenever.
Yeah.
And Rolf, that dick, decided that Captain Von Trapp was somehow lesser than him. Like, he was cooler than Captain Von Trapp. He was a millennial. He was a millennial of 1939 Austria. Fuck that kid. And by the way, I hope somebody put a gun in his mouth and blew his head off. He deserved to die. I have no
He
sympathy
was
for that.
a millennial. You shouldn't say that.
No, I'm saying he represents millennials today.
Yeah, no, don't say that.
Why not?
Because millennials will...
Actually, pardon me. He's not a millennial. They're a little
No.
older. He's Gen Z.
Yeah, the ones that are licking toilets and... Yeah. They're licking toilets and...
Toilet seats. And they're getting
Yeah.
coronavirus.
Yeah.
Nah, not good. Paul Gilmore sends in a tip and says, don't feel too ashamed. I haven't seen Sound of Music either.
What?
I'm not a musical fan. How much singing is there? Paul, first of all, if you don't like
man.
musicals...
Why? Who doesn't like musicals?
Well, there's a lot of people that don't have
Why?
a sense of whimsy. It's a little weird. I get it.
I don't understand that.
Here's the thing. Look at musicals like Lord of the Rings. Meaning that it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
And so when people break into song, you're dealing with a fantasy element. And I would say there are certain musicals. Start with Purple Rain. His Purple Badness.
No, that's weird.
Why is that weird?
It's a weird musical to start with.
Well, the plot gets furthered by songs. Okay, what would you say? If you ladies and gentlemen,
it's
Elizabeth,
okay. Start with
what would you say?
Purple
No,
Rain.
don't start with Purple Rain.
No,
I'm just
because
saying if you don't like.
I don't think that I can recommend something because I don't understand not liking musicals.
Well, you know what it is? When you say you don't like musicals, it means you haven't seen them. Like, they're not appealing to you at first. You don't understand. I felt that way until I watched Singing in the Rain.
Watch Grease.
Oh, Grease.
Watch Grease.
Beauty school.
It's such a fun musical.
Beauty school dropout. No graduation day for you.
I think that's a good place to start.
Mr. Midterms and got the flu. Grease is a good musical.
Right?
Grease is the word.
That's
it's
a good
the word.
one
It's the word that you heard. It's got move.
It's fun. The songs are great.
Yeah.
It's John Travolta.
But I don't think it's just the songs. What it is, it's the juxtaposition of transitioning from songs to plot.
Right. Okay, but you have to embrace the fantasy of it. It's not realistic.
But I would say
people don't just break out into song and dance.
But
although I wish that they would.
I would say as the viceroy of verisimilitude, I can understand why people don't dig musicals.
Right.
And it's an acquired taste.
But if you can get into like a sci-fi that's not realistic, you can get into a musical.
Well, no, I think so too. And I thought I was
even a comic book.
But I was very prejudicial against musicals growing up. And it wasn't until I saw, like, when I saw West Side Story.
Of all the musicals, I don't like West Side Story.
Oh, my God. Have you seen the Vanity Fair article that went online today with shots from Spielberg's West Side Story? I am so excited. Since I saw Temple of Doom, anything goes, that number, I've wanted Spielberg to make a musical for... Well,
he should make a musical.
He remade West Side Story. It comes out on Christmas.
Oh, really? I hope it's good because I fell asleep during the.
Oh my God!
Original.
When you're a
musicals.
jet, you're a jet all the way from your first cigarette to your. Can
you hear us?
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. They can hear us. We're good. No. Now there should be sound.
He touched the mic. Can you hear us now?
There's sound now. Come on, man.
No. Oh.
Wait. No, there's...
We're talking. Oh, man.
No, there's sound. There's sound coming out.
Is there sound now?
Yes, there's sound now. Sound.
Is there sound? We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, it's because he touched the mic. Okay. Bye.
Apparently, during during the show, I perhaps should not break into song.
Don't touch the mic.
Don't touch the mic.
Jeez.
Okay.
You can sing, but don't touch the mic.
Wait. So Paul Gilmore wants to know how much singing is. Not a musical fan. You know what, Paul? I would say find your sense of whimsy. Watch the movie.
Okay, start with Amelie and then go into a musical. Amelie is not a musical, but it'll give you a sense.
Yeah, you know what? Amelie is a great gateway to musicals. Watch
Right?
Amelie, but I would say if you're going to start with a musical, Start with singing. No, start with Singing in the Rain.
Sing in the Rain. Very good.
Sing in the Rain. I think that would be good. Comic Doctor sends in a super chat and says, Rob, loving hearing you discuss classics not yet seen. I am sure there are not many. Cheers to you both, and I look forward to Elizabeth's next pick. No!
Yes!
No, this was a pick. No.
Yes,
this whole show
is... This will happen.
Yeah, not anytime soon.
Come on.
Come on, babe.
Come on, really self-control here. Come on. What is the name of this show?
It's Elizabeth's WINEning. Okay, well, we'll see. So, Bunyan... Felix Leiter sends in another tip and says, "Oh, Viceroy, The Fellowship of the Ring or The Return of the King."
You skipped over one.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Maria in real life married... Oh.
I said that, babe. I said that.
Why are you skipping around?
I know, I understand.
Went in one direction.
First of all, Felix Leiter, much as I love you, I love the CIA, but Fellowship of the Ring or Return of the King, it's all part of the same story. But to be honest, if you really want an answer, I've got to go with Fellowship of the Ring because I was so blown away by it. I've told the story before. Working on the DVD special features, we hadn't seen any of the movie, and they had shown this 20-minute reel at the Cannes Film Festival, and we hadn't seen it, and we're making special features, and we had to go to New Line, the offices of New Line Cinema, which were at the time in Beverly Hills, right off 3rd Street, and they showed us the 20-minute reel they showed at Cannes, which had a lot of the Mines of Moria sequence, and all of us were like, holy shit. And this was before the movie came out, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I never thought they nailed fantasy filmmaking on screen, but oh my god. I mean, it was an amazing experience. Really amazing. So I'd have to say if you have to pick, but I mean, you know,
watch both. Why pick?
Well, yeah, why pick? I mean, you have to watch Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King. It's all part of the same continuum. You can't watch one or the other. Brian Hepburn sends in a super chat and says, "Great longtime Disney playback singer Bill Lees sang the parts for Captain Von Trapp in the film. One of the reasons Plummer dislikes it."
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, if Christopher Plummer could belt it out, they would have used his voice.
Right.
And that was par for the course. I mean, that was par for the course. You know, Natalie Wood did not sing her songs in West Side Story because she couldn't sing.
Yeah, they probably should have done that for Mamma Mia too.
Isn't Mamma Mia really ABBA though? They're just
no. With why is his name escaping me? And I love him, and I like that movie.
Yeah.
But they should have dubbed out his songs. Just saying.
That could be. It's true. Paul Gilmore sends in, he continues on, says, "The part I don't like about musicals is when they break into singing during a dramatic scene. It takes me out of it."
Oh.
What do you have to say about that?
But I have the opposite feeling. I feel like it intensifies the emotion.
Is that true?
Whatever the emotion is for that scene, the song kind of intensifies it. If it's done right. Don't you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, look. Musicals as a genre, in real life, people don't usually break into song. You know,
right.
They don't. So,
I wish they would, though.
Well, I do too. Like I would.
I would too.
I would sing like
Although
you and I.
I can't sing very well, but I do occasionally just break out in song.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I would break out my karaoke favorites like Barry Manilow's Copacabana.
You break out in song.
I do sing, don't
I?
I do. I sing roaming around the house.
You do.
I do. I kind of sing a lot. Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl with yellow feathers in her hair and a dress cut down to there. She would merengue and do the cha-cha. No, I like to sing.
I love when you sing.
I sing a lot.
It's great.
Yeah.
You guys should try it.
No, I think singing, but there is, I mean, the whole musical form.
No, I get it. Like, if you're going into a movie and you're not used to that, You just have to know, like, when going in, that there's going to be songs, and it's not realistic. It's just,
Well,
it's fantastical.
what's interesting is I would think that if you're an imagination connoisseur, if you're a fan of science fiction, fantasy, and horror films, that you would be predisposed to buying into the conceit of a musical.
Yeah, right? Because it's fantasy.
Yeah, I mean the whole idea of it, and I think in a way, I mean the musical when movies were first made, when films were especially like in the 30s, a lot of them were a translation of stage bound stories to cinema.
Right.
And a lot of those were musicals,
Right.
or things where people were dancing. That's why, and because cinema was new and all that, it was pretty cool. So, the musical form progressed along with cinema, and
Yes,
so
that
to
makes sense.
me, if you're a fan of and I understand, I totally understand. As somebody who rejected musicals growing up, I'm like, I'm just too cool for musicals. Like, come on. But then I saw Grease like 8 times in the theater, and I made my sister watch my
Right.
Born to Hand Jive routine. Susie,
Grease is great.
it is great.
It's a really good one to start off in musicals, I think.
It's true. Because a hickey from Kanicki is like a Hallmark card
Right.
when you care enough to send the very best.
And when you're a beauty school dropout, I mean, you know.
Beauty school dropout. It'll come back.
Is
We're
it
there.
back?
No, it's back. You can see it's
Oh,
back. It'll
man,
come back.
Stop doing that. No, we're good, right?
No, yeah, we're good.
No sound? I'm not hearing you. Oh, no.
No, it's good.
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, it's going
Somebody
out now.
say yes.
Well, we're behind. We're behind. Why does the mic keep going out? I'll
Because
tell you
he's
why.
touching it.
Because I keep touching it.
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, it's they're behind. They're behind.
I know. Are we good? Are we good now?
Yeah, ta-da now. Loose connection. I think Rob does it on purpose when he's saying dirty things. No, I keep touching the.
You keep touching the.
I
what?
keep touching the mic cord. I keep touching this big,
Oh,
thick,
we're good.
throbbing.
We're good.
Oh wait.
Okay, we're good.
Typical watch. Sorry. Microphone's out. Mukbang, yes. By the way,
Okay.
Mukbang is a great support of this channel.
I
He's also a
know.
huge Prince fan.
Oh yes. Oh, is he the one that keeps sending you?
Yeah.
Oh, and then you
Yeah.
sing.
Yeah.
He prompts you to sing.
Everybody, get on the floor. What the hell'd you come here for? Girl, it ain't no use. Might as well get loose. Work your body like a... Oh, wait, hang on. Don't want to say
We
that.
have more super chats.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we do. Claudius sends in a tip. Comedias, musicales, musicals. That was I think Mary Poppins and Mary Poppins Returns are great places to start. Julie Andrews and Emily Blunt, Wait on Xanadu. Ma femme et moi love Elizabeth's. Bonne nuit. Okay.
His wife and him love our show.
Yeah, I can only imagine they're just laughing their ass off at us.
Well, if you drink a whole bottle of wine, it gets good.
We only drink half a bottle of wine.
I'm almost done.
Well, I know. We're almost
That's
done.
it.
Well, it's true. Comic Doctor sends in a super chat and says, pot legal in Canada, new show talking about movies. You know, you and I are not pot people.
You know, pot does absolutely nothing to me.
Yeah, I prefer cocaine and ecstasy, to be honest.
Okay.
Oh, wait. I haven't done drugs in years. You've never, yeah, I don't smoke.
No.
I used to smoke American Spirit Yellows. I used to do
I
fatty
put the
rails.
kibosh on smoking.
Yeah, I don't do any. Have you? You know, I do
put the
drink.
kibosh on all that.
I've even curtailed my drinking.
Yeah, he drinks a lot less.
A lot less.
A lot.
Yeah, it's true.
Got to take care of that liver.
Yeah.
Although now we're drinking wine like 3 days a week.
Yeah, but it's only half a bottle, and it's kind of good for us. I mean, I think in the long run.
Oh, is that how you justify it?
That's like a Madonna song, Justify My Love. Evan Newman sends in a tip, says, 2020 goal, Rob in London at a karaoke bar after singing No Time to Die, with Jameson in one hand and a microphone in the other, belting out Tom Jones' Thunderball. He always runs while others walk. He acts while other men just talk. I would love that. And by the way,
Oh no.
We are, by the way, I think the greatest thing about this, if there's any upside to this coronavirus thing, there are two things. My moderator, Jim Boyers, is going to finally get his passport, and we will go to London in November to see No Time to Die.
Well, let's go when it's safe.
No, we will go when it's safe, but, you know.
In a year or two, when there's a vaccine.
No, not in a year or two. We're going to go see No Time to Die.
Yeah, when it comes out in a year.
I think Evan Newman's absolutely right. I mean, we're going to do it.
I'm not going anywhere until I get a vaccine.
Come on, man. Crosstalk sends in a super chat and says, Rob, you know if you touch or shake the mic more than twice, it's playing with it. And God judges you for it. Heh, just kidding. And hello from Edmonton. We got another foot of snow. Spring is here. I know. My friend, a friend of mine who bought a western town in Montana got snow today too.
Whoa, we got to go to that western town when it's safe.
I think it's safe. By the way, I love Edmonton.
It's not safe yet.
No, it's nothing
Until
is
we
safe.
get a vaccine, we're not safe.
Well, that's true of life. There's no vaccine for life.
True.
Okay, listen. I think we're a little astray. We've gone a little astray.
I think so.
So why don't we bring an end to this? We had many technical difficulties. I couldn't stop touching the.
Stop touching the mic! God damn it! Stop it.
Okay. Ultimately, Elizabeth, let's go back to the.
All this for a G movie. I mean.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this would be Elizabeth's episode number. Ooh, there we go.
Can you hear us?
Yes. Well, they can't. There's a delay here. They can hear us now. I really have to stop touching my mic.
Stop touching the mic.
I will stop touching the mic.
Oh,
The key is to have other people touch your mic for you. Really? You know what I'm saying? You know I like that.
I think we've had some wine.
Some wine. More than ever. And perhaps maybe getting hey look, Sound of Silence.
Still?
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to
Can
talk
you guys
with
hear us?
No, they can hear us.
I don't know.
So long, farewell,
Farewell.
Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
Bye.
But that's like Lawrence Welk. Do people even know who Lawrence Welk is? Probably not. All these people. Anyway,
man.
Jim Boyers is like, if you haven't already, hit the like button. Somebody please hit the like button. We try hard. I love that Detective Jim is here. Anyway,
Yeah.
so why don't
he made a show. I'm glad.
What's that?
Because it's so late for him.
Oh my God, it is late for him. Well, okay, let's bring it in. These shows should be an hour. I have to now cut down our wrong-headed opening with no audio.
No.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, as you know, we have to do our bottoms-up scale.
Oh.
On the Elizabeth's whining about movies bottoms-up scale.
Yes.
What do we give Sound of Music?
What is your scale for this movie?
My bottoms-up scale for Sound of Music is 3.75 bottles of wine. Or glasses of wine.
Okay.
3.75.
Okay.
3.75.
I'll take that. Very good.
And you?
Oh, I give this 4.
4 stars.
I love this film. I grew up with this film. The music, I just love it.
So the bottoms-up scale for you?
It's a 4 for me.
3.75 for me. It's a pretty good average.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, kind beings, gentle people from across the 28 known galaxies, thank you once again for tuning in. Episode 9 of Whining About Movies. I don't think we whined a lot this time. We drank wine,
We drank
but
a
we
lot
didn't
of wine.
I think it's pretty good. I thought this was a delightful episode of our show.
Fun. Very fun.
Pretty good. And, it's really great to have all these movies. We don't have to go out for them. We don't have to, it is on... By the way, The Sound of Music is available on Disney Plus now, and it looks terrific. So, by the way, Disney Plus did not sponsor us in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying.
I was kind of upset that he didn't dig up the DVD.
Because I just
the Blu-ray.
moving my entire physical media collection into the Robservatory.
It's in a box.
It's in a box.
That was his excuse.
Well, it is. It's not an
Anyway.
excuse. It's a reality. So I want to thank everybody for watching us. If you like these shows, please hit like. Please subscribe. Please send us letters. Write down.
Letters.
You can send us letters right down there. We'll play letters at the Burnettwork.net. And just make sure that you say something about Elizabeth's or whether or not we can read it on the show. So thank you very much for being here. We will be back on Friday with another exciting film and another bottle of wine.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for supporting the channel. It's important to remember that all of my moderators make this show and make the channel great.
Yes.
So let's hear it for Mike Bawden, the Honorable Mayor of Riverdale, Iowa. Of course, former detective. You know what? In my mind, he'll always be a detective. Jim Boyers, who is one of our great moderators. And then there's, of course, Greg Smith, a man who's building a 1-to-1 scale snowspeeder from The Empire Strikes Back, a man who I stood in line with for all 3 Star Wars movies in March of 1985. And then I also want to thank Louis Yu, and I want to thank Jordy Lyons, my great moderating staff. And I want to thank most of all of you, the members of the Post-Geek Singularity community. And remember, every person you meet has a story to tell.
All you have to do is listen.
No, that you haven't heard yet.
Oh.
Every person you meet has a story to tell. You have yet to hear.
You have yet to hear.
All you have to do is
listen.
And with that,
have a better night.
Have a better night. That's right. Have a little glass of wine.
Have some wine and have a better night.
I want to thank you all for being here. And as I always like to say, as always, I should have said have a better night. Thanks for being here. subscribe, hit like, comment, whatever you want to do. We'll be back on Friday. Elizaviews, whining about movies. And by the way, if there's movies you think we should watch that you think we haven't seen,
I think there's a poll going.
Oh, is there? Well,
I think Richard has a poll going.
The Richard runs the Post-Geek Singularity Facebook page and also the Elizaviews, the Whining About Movies Facebook page. Join them. If you're not worried about them throwing the election, then be on Facebook and go to the Post-Geek Singularity Facebook page and go to the Whining About Movies Facebook page and find the Richard and tell him what we should watch. And I think coming up, we're going to do 4 episodes, or maybe 3, of Viewer's Choice, where even if we've seen the movie or not, we're going to watch the movie again, and we're going to do a Viewer's Choice week where you pick the movies.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, I like that.
And with that, we say, well, you already said, have a better night.
Have a better night. Drink some wine.
Drink some wine. And, wait, if you want the wine club thing, don't you have wine?
Oh yeah, message either Rob or I for a code for $35 for $100 worth of wine. Naked Wines.
A naked wine. It's really good wine too. They don't even pay us. They should pay us.
They should.
Somebody should pay us.
They should pay us.
By the way, thank you.
Or send us wine.
Yeah, that's it. We don't need money. We need wine.
Just need wine.
We need the best wines. We need them now. Have a better day.
Good night.